So how about another vlog? Yeah. Um, yeah, a vlog. Okay. How about another vlog? What to talk about? How about this thing right here? See that little thing that's going around and around and around there on the screen that I'm looking at now? That's a brand new ceiling fan. Ceiling fan has a special story. It's stupid, but it's just another, I guess, example of my social anxiety issues, just involving my landlady, which never really thought I'd have any kind of things like that, an interaction with the landlady that messed with the social anxieties. Because mainly I just don't really see my landlady a whole lot. We don't talk a whole lot. But after the window project from 2 or 3 weeks ago now, it's hard to believe it's already been that long. She came over to inspect their work after they finished up. She went to flip the switch off the camera. You can't see where the light switch would be. That controlled the ceiling fan and the light, and it didn't come on. Which is because the ceiling fan broke about 1.5 years ago when my daughter took one of her Angry Birds stuffed animals and was throwing it up in the air at the ceiling. I don't know what she was doing with it because I was outside when it happened. And when I came inside, she was like, "Daddy, I'm sorry, but I was throwing my Angry Bird toy in the air and it hit the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan stopped working." And I was upset. I wasn't mad at her. I was just upset because, man, when I have that thing going, I keep that thing going all the time because it keeps the house cool. In summertime, it helps keep the house warm in the wintertime. And to lose that was a bummer. But I didn't want to go tell my landlady right away. I guess I was afraid that she'd be upset that it was something that was basically my responsibility. My daughter, she broke it. I didn't know if she was going to charge me for it. I don't know if she could charge me for it. I don't know. I like to have a good standing with my landlord. And she's a very nice older lady who puts me to shame as far as the amount of physical work that she does. But I just felt really bad, and so like everything else, when I'm faced with that challenge, I just pushed it away and didn't do anything about it. And if she hadn't come over here to inspect the work that was done, she wouldn't have known about it right this very moment. Anyway, so her handyman guy came and fixed it, or took the old one out and put this new one in on, I think it was Wednesday. And now I have the new ceiling fan. But today, I had mentioned a couple other things. I thought, okay, I do have somebody here who takes care of stuff. I'm going to let him know about some other issues that I have in the house. So he came today and fixed the faucets in my bathroom sink. And been trying to do something about my front door, because as crazy as this is, my front door won't close. You can shut it, swing it shut, and lock it from inside or outside, but it doesn't actually latch shut. So he was going to take a look at that, and he did a little bit of something to it that day, and it was latching better, but still wasn't perfect. I come home today and could tell my outside door, the storm door, was open, so I knew somebody had been here. I assumed it might have been possibly him doing this other work, and I tried to unlock my door, it wouldn't unlock. I thought, shit, I'm locked out. My landlady's vehicles were at her house. She just lives across the street from me. So I walked over there and I knocked and I knocked and I knocked and nobody showed up. I was like, I got ice cream in a bag in my hands here. It was only probably about 75 degrees, but it felt a lot warmer. It's been very wet and rainy here, so it's probably just the humidity. But I was like, what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit here while my ice cream just drips all over the place and I can't get into my house. I was like, what if my landlady had left for the weekend? And, I don't know. I was just dreading all kinds of stuff. Anyway, the point was, after the third knock, I started to walk across the street, and then she answered the door. She said she was on the phone. But she basically had I told her what was going on. I couldn't get in the door. She gave me the key, the second key for my door locks, because I only have the one, because one of them is kind of old door lock and doesn't operate well with the key. So she only gave me the key for the deadbolt. And then she's like, if anything ever happens, make sure you tell me and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be okay if you let me know about these things. And I was like, how does she know that I was stressing out about that? Stop it. How did she know? I don't know. Maybe from talking to my dad, because when my dad's around, he will converse with her, and he'll converse with the neighbors. He'll go all over the place to talk to everybody. Me, I talk to you. So anyway, that was that. A pointless story, I guess, but I just thought I would share. The other thing I wanted to talk about was some shit that went down yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a downer day for me. And it's sad because most of it happened after I filmed all the videos that I uploaded last night and today, the games and the X-Files stuff. And then my night had to go into the pooper a little bit. At first I had kind of a pointless argument with my ex-wife over money, of course, which ended pretty much with her being all huffy, and I just freaking told her to get the hell off my property, kind of. I didn't say those words, but I said, get out of here, and I walked in my house, shut the door. What a drama queen I am. And then two things, I don't remember which happened first, but I thought I was going to get to play some Gmod with some friends, and they decided to go back and play Rust, and a lot of my online friends right now got massive hard-ons for Rust, and I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. More and more so, it's become worse and worse, because now most of those friends have gravitated back over to Ohmwrecker's server, which is just littered with overly aggressive dude bros, showing off how big their E-peens are. And I just would kind of like to build stuff and, hang out with my virtual online friends. So I was a little bummed when they decided to go do Rust instead of Gmod. And I think that happened first. So I went over, I found that one of my favorite YouTubers, Red Wolf, was streaming on Twitch. He'd streamed earlier in the day, and it said Arma 3, but he was playing a Transformers game, and he wasn't doing face cam or commentary. It was just the gameplay. And that was a weird stream, but the guy's got a little girl, and we all just speculated that he probably wanted to play and stream for us, but he couldn't talk and do his normal shenanigans with his girlfriend and daughter probably asleep. So he comes back on late at night and does this new stream, and he's in what I can only imagine is some sort of a Garry's Mod game mode I've never seen before, where he's literally like in one of the Half-Life Doom buggies driving around this desolate landscape, and there's storm clouds and thunder and lightning, and then the tornado sirens go off, and a freaking virtual tornado comes down and destroys houses and shit. And I was like, the next vlog I'm going to do is going to explain more about this, but I had an incident a couple years ago involving a tornado where I could have died. And it's very traumatic, like it would be, but it hasn't left me really at all. It's easier to get through the days. It's easier to kind of put up with knowing the kind of weather that we're going to be getting over the next few months, but it's never going away. And to hear not only him, but some of the people commenting in the stream that, oh, this is so cool, and that was so badass, and that was so awesome. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I had to chime in. I was like, first of all, this is not the least bit realistic. For everybody in that stream who was so hyped up on the idea of storm chasing and tornadoes, and they were going all cuckoo for this game, it doesn't give you 1% of what that is actually like. And I mentioned that. I put that in there. I was like, this is not accurate. This is really stupid. And storm chasing and storms and tornadoes are not a laughing matter. And I get comments like, oh, just let us have our fun and all this and that. And there was at least one other person in the stream who mentioned how they had survived a tornado encounter. So I had a momentary clicking with somebody in there. But in the course of kind of talking about it with that, it was just a lot of people dogging on me for having a different opinion about it, much more realistic opinion. Sure, it was a video game. Sure, it was just bullshit on the internet, but I was like, thanks a lot for the compassion, guys. It just felt like a real kick in the pants. Online friends, I guess, and friends out there that you've never really met, or who don't really know you, even when you kind of feel like maybe you have some sort of a connection. Maybe they just don't have the compassion, like I said, because, and a friend of mine who will probably watch this video, named Ron, a good friend of mine, personal friend that I know and see on a fairly regular basis, he commented to me on Facebook after I posted a status last night about it, and he told me exactly in the way I needed to hear it, the terminology that I didn't even think about. Last night I was just raging a little bit. He said they're just ignorant. They've not been in the same kind of circumstance that you've been in. They don't know what it's like. It's just ignorance. And he's right. It's not a matter of them being idiots. It's not a matter of them being, they're somewhat insensitive, yes, but it's because of their ignorance. They've never been in that situation. I guarantee you, anybody from Red Wolf himself down to all those people in there, they go through that kind of a scenario, they'd have a completely different outlook on it. I just don't think that it's fun and games. I just don't. And I know a lot of people could say, well, you probably play a whole bunch of video games where you're shooting people with guns and stabbing people with knives and running them over with cars and stuff. Yeah, I do. Guess what? I've never been ran over by a car. I've never been shot at or knifed at. If I was in a stream playing a game or watching somebody else play a game that was like that, and somebody came up in the stream and said, well, I was attacked by a crazed gunman, I was attacked by a person with a knife, I was ran over, I was any of these things, you know what? I would have, I don't know if it's sympathy or empathy for them, but I would feel bad for them. I would feel for them, and I might just shut my mouth about it and not tell somebody to basically get over it. Let us have our fun. Anyway, like I said, ignorance. It's just ignorance. They haven't been there. They don't know. And a lot of those people are super young, half my age, if not younger. So I just kind of had to spin away from the computer last night and go do something else, which basically went to bed because it was way too late anyway, and I had to get up for work at 6 o'clock. Okay, so anyway, that's it. I don't know what kind of videos I'm going to get recorded tonight. I do know that I think I'm going to make a commitment. The next vlog that I sit down to do will be to explain my tornado experience, and maybe some people will understand where I'm coming from and why I feel the way that I do now about that kind of thing. So, yeah, thanks guys for watching, and we'll end with staring at my beautiful ceiling fan.